Okay, so the hot topic this week has, of course, been petrol prices. And to recap, right now the current system is that if you're a Malaysian citizen with a Malaysian registered car, you get to enjoy RM1.99 petrol at a subsidized price of RM1.99, limited to 300 litres per person, and this is going to be enforced by some sort of system where they check your IC at the point of sale. Of course, once you exceed the 300 litre usage, or if you are a foreigner driving a Malaysian registered car, you pay RM1.99 at an unsubsidized rate of RM2.60. And if you're driving a non-Malaysian registered car, a Singapore plate car, you pump RM1.97. Okay, so earlier this week I released a quick short video talking about how far does 300 litre per month get you, and it turns out, well, pretty far, because taking my own cars for example, at an average of 13 litres consumption per 100 kilometer, I can still average about 2,200 kilometers before I have to switch to unsubsidized fuel. And most cars on our roads are able to average 10 litres per 100 kilometer, right? So which means that on average, most of you would probably be able to do easily 2,500 to 3,000 kilometers per month on just one person. If you are husband and wife, 2 person, that is 600 litres, 6,000 kilometers. I don't know about you, but I'm willing to bet that not many of you all watching this will hit 3,000 kilometers per month of usage. Okay, now there's also a lot of people arguing about, hey, what happened to the targeted subsidy, making the rich pay more, and ensuring that subsidy only reaches the B40. Now, my view of it is this. It sounds noble on paper, make the rich pay more and help the poor. But the reality is that Malaysia has a population of 30 million people. How are you going to have a system that is robust enough, sophisticated enough to handle the complexities at point of sale, to judge that this person qualifies for subsidized fuel and the other person does not? I'm not saying the idea is not noble, but what I'm saying is that it is not realistic to implement, right? And I suspect why the current system is rolled out, it's because it's just too complex to execute this at the point of sale. And in my opinion, for me, the way I look at it is, if you can get RM1.99 subsidized petrol for 300 litres per person, that is already a lot, right? It's enough to cover the usage of most people. And for people to exceed this kind of use, right, what it means is that either you are living a very good life, right, and you can afford to very frequently drive long distance to travel and to Malaysia, okay, which means that, right, if you can afford that, you can afford unsubsidized petrol. Second group of people that I can think of would be those of you who do a sales job. You have to travel a lot to meet your clients. Now, in that sense, well, I would hope that your sales job, right, the amount of travel that you make will make you enough that subsidized petrol or unsubsidized petrol is no longer relevant to you, right? And that brings me on to the question that I always ask is this: rather than preoccupy ourselves with thinking, how can we make the rich pay more and allocate more help to the poor, the other flip side of the equation is this: rich people also pay more tax, right? So if they pay more tax, it's perfectly fair for them to enjoy more of the benefits that taxpayer money, right, is paying for. It's actually fair, right? But my bigger thing is, it's much easier to manage and to administer if everybody just pays the same amount, right, whether it's subsidized or unsubsidized. And if the objective is to reduce government expenditure, then perhaps the answer is just really to gradually reduce the subsidy. You cannot just take away all out and straight go from ringgit 5 cents to 2 ringgit 60 cents per litre overnight. That is crazy. That will shock the economy in ways that we cannot imagine. But if you raise it gently from 205 to 206 to over the period of 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, the people will slowly get used to it. All right. And here's the thing. The bigger question that I also want to ask is, look, instead of we ask, how do we make the rich pay more? Why don't we ask the question? Why don't we ask ourselves this question? How do we make ourselves earn more so that whether fuel price is subsidized or not, the difference is something that we can afford to absorb, right? How do we earn more so that rather than think of subsidized fuel or unsubsidized fuel every time, right, we just pump RON97, that's it, right? Wouldn't that be a more powerful, a more productive question for us to ask ourselves? Because somebody once said this to me before, well, not somebody, many people have said this to me before, right? The quality of your life depends on the quality of questions that you ask yourself. And for the longest time, rather than asking how do we make the rich pay more, the questions that I now seek to ask is, how do I make more so that I can afford to regularly pump RON97, so that when government announce fuel price, it doesn't matter to me? That is the kind of questions that I want to ask. All right. So yeah. But anyways, I'm also curious to know, right? For let's say like 300 liters per month, how many of you actually use 300 liters per month? And in the case of your current vehicles, 300 liters per month, how far does that actually get you? Let me know in the comment section below. I look forward to see you in the next video.